ho, ho! Well, hello there. I am so glad you're here. Yes, it's me, Santa Claus. Welcome to my home here at the North Pole. The fire is crackling quite nicely, and I've just settled into my favorite chair for a bit of a rest. I was hoping you might join me for a while. You see, this time of year is my very favorite, not just for the sleigh ride, but for these quiet moments we can share together. I thought perhaps we could just be here. I'll share a few stories from my many years and some thoughts that have been warming my old heart. From time to time, I'll even read one of your wonderful letters and answer a question or two. Think of this as a long, cozy visit with beautiful Christmas music to fill the spaces in between our chats. There is no rush. This is a place to relax, to feel the warmth of the season, and to simply enjoy the moment. So, find a comfortable spot, listen closely, and let the spirit of Christmas fill your heart. I am so very, very happy that you've decided to spend this time with me. It truly means the world. It is one of my favorite parts of the day, to settle into my chair and read through the wonderful mail that arrives from all corners of the world. The things you wonder about, they fill this old heart with such delight. Let's see what we have here. Here is a question from a young man named Jacob, who is 8 years old. Jacob asks, "Does your long white beard ever get tangled in things, like a scarf or a particularly tricky bit of workshop machinery?" Oh, Jacob, that is a very observant question, and the answer is, it certainly used to. Many, many years ago, I was inspecting a new machine that paints the stripes on candy canes, and I leaned in a bit too close. The next thing I knew, my beard was caught right in the gears. It took 3 elves and a bit of peppermint oil to get me untangled. After that, a very clever elf named Ilara designed a wonderful invention she calls the Beard Guard, a little clip made of polished silver bell wood that keeps everything tucked safely away when I'm in the workshop. So thank you, Jacob. My beard is much safer these days because of friends who look out for one another. And here's another one. This comes from Gabriella, who is a chef. Ah, kindred spirit. Gabriella writes, "I've heard rumors of a river of hot cocoa at the North Pole. Do the elves ever go fishing in it with marshmallow bait?" A rumor? My dear Gabriella, it is much more than a rumor. We call it the Great Cocoa Stream, and it flows right through the center of our village, warm and rich and smelling of pure happiness. And do the elves go fishing in it? Of course they do. They have tiny fishing rods made from old candy canes, and they use fluffy marshmallows for bait, just as you imagined. They don't catch fish, mind you. They catch little hardened swirls of dark chocolate, and sometimes, if they're very lucky, a rare white chocolate nugget. It is quite a sight to see. Thank you both, Jacob and Gabriella, for such marvelous questions. Please never stop wondering, never stop asking. It is your curiosity that keeps the world bright and full of magic.
You know, my mind does enjoy a good puzzle now and then. It's a wonderful way to see things in a new light. I have a couple here with me. Would you care to see if you can solve them? All right, let's begin with this one. I fall from the sky in winter, but I'm not rain. I make the world quiet, white, and plain. I am unique in my design, a six-sided crystal so fine. What am I? Still thinking? I'll give you a little clue. You need me to build a snowman or have a white Christmas. Did you guess it? Why, it's a snowflake. Oh, wonderful! No two are ever alike, you know. Each one is a tiny, perfect miracle. Ready for another? Excellent! I have a shiny coat and a crinkly sound. I am used to hide gifts so they cannot be found. I come in rolls of many colors and patterns bright. What am I? Let's see. Oh, this can be a tricky one. Here's a little help. You need tape and scissors to work with me. Ah, yes. The answer is wrapping paper. The elves have so much fun choosing all the different patterns. It helps make every present a wonderful surprise right up until the last moment. Wasn't that enjoyable? A good riddle is like a little gift for the mind. It unwraps a moment of simple wonder.
My dear Mrs. Claus. Just thinking of her brings a smile to my face. After all this time, you would think we see eye to eye on everything. And for the most part, we do. But there is one little tradition, a friendly disagreement we have every single year, right before takeoff. It's about the music. You see, I am quite convinced the reindeer fly faster and straighter with a bit of inspiration. A good strong march, you know, something with trumpets and triumphant drums, a grand fanfare to announce our journey to the world. It puts a spring in their step and keeps the sleigh flying true. That's my theory, anyway. Mrs. Claus, however, is absolutely certain they prefer the opposite. She insists that what they truly need is calm. The softest, sweetest carols played quietly to soothe their nerves for the long night ahead. Every year we try to settle it. We'll try my music for the first hour, and then hers for the second, and we check the speed and the altitude. The results are, shall we say, always inconclusive. But she believes she has definitive proof. She'll point to Blitzen. Whenever she puts on a particularly quiet lullaby like Pearl, his eyes get all soft, and you can hear this low rumbling hum coming from his chest. She'll say, "You see, he's humming along. He loves it." And I'll lean over and whisper back with a chuckle, "My dear, he's humming because he's about to fall asleep." In the end, I suppose it doesn't much matter which music plays. Perhaps the real magic for the journey isn't in the melody we choose, but in having someone you love to share the quiet debate with year after year.
You know, one of my very favorite sounds, besides the jingling of sleigh bells, is the sound of a good, hearty laugh. It warms the workshop faster than any fireplace. I've collected a few little chuckles over the years, and I thought I might share one or two with you. All right, here is the first one. Why did the Christmas tree go to the barber? Because it needed a trim. Ha ha ho! Oh, that one always gets the elves. They spend so much time making sure every branch is perfect, you see. Ready for another? I hope so. What does a gingerbread man put on his bed? A cookie sheet. Ha ha! A cookie sheet. Oh, that's a good one. Mrs. Claus always says our gingerbread men are the coziest in the world, and now I know their secret. Let's see. Yes. What did one snowman say to the other snowman? He leaned over and said, "Do you smell carrots?" Ha ha ho! I do love that one. It's a bit silly, isn't it? But it always makes me smile. We have to be very careful where we store the carrots for the reindeer. It feels good to share a smile. Laughter is a special kind of magic, you know? It doesn't need wrapping paper, and it fits everyone perfectly. It's a gift we can give each other all year long, and it makes the world feel just a little bit brighter. Remember to share a laugh whenever you can.
You know, I often see how many clever ways there are to send a message in your world. Wires that carry voices across continents, little screens that light up with words in an instant. It's all quite remarkable. But here, at the very top of the world, we rely on something a little older, something woven into the very air. We have what the elves have always called the whispering winds. You see, the winter breezes that swirl through our village have a special kind of life to them. They listen. So, if an elf in the doll-making studio has just put the final perfect curl on a doll's head, she doesn't need to run all the way to the wrapping station. She'll simply lean near an open window, cup her hands, and whisper into the passing breeze, "The teddy bears are ready for their ribbons." And then the magic begins. That tiny message is picked up by the wind, almost like a shared secret. It might swirl around the great Christmas tree in the town square, duck under a sleepy reindeer's antler in the stables, and float right over the gingerbread rooftops until it finds exactly who it's looking for. The head elf in the wrapping department will suddenly hear that whisper clear as a bell right in his ear, as if his friend was standing right beside him. The wind always knows where to deliver its news. It's the most reliable service I've ever known. It's one of the quiet, wonderful magics of this place. A bit of wonder in the very air we breathe, making sure every part of our great plan works in perfect harmony. It's how we all stay connected, all working together to make Christmas possible. You know, every litter that arrives here is a little bit of magic. But some are more than just wishes for toys. They are pure love folded carefully into an envelope. Ah, and here is one of those now. The handwriting is so thoughtful, so very clear. Let me see. Dear Santa, I'm writing this letter for my little brother. He can't write one for himself, but I listen to his heart, so I know what he would say. He doesn't need much to be happy. He loves the feel of the softest blankets, the ones that feel like a cloud when you pull them up to your chin. He loves the sound of our wind chimes on the porch when the breeze is just right, not too loud, just a happy little song. And his favorite color is yellow. Not a bright, loud yellow, but the kind of yellow you see when sunshine pours through a window. So I'm not asking for a noisy toy or something with lots of buttons. I'm just asking if you could bring him something that feels like a hug. Something that will make him feel cozy and happy and understood. He is the best brother in the whole world. Thank you, Santa. Love, Chloe, his big sister. My, oh my, what a truly wonderful letter. To know someone so well, to see the world through their eyes and feel it with their heart, that is a gift far greater than anything I could ever place in my sleigh. Chloe hasn't just asked for a present for her brother, she has given him a voice. She's translated the beautiful, quiet language of his happiness, softness, music, and warmth. Ha! It reminds us all that the best presents are rarely about what a thing is, but about what it feels like. A feeling of being known, of being loved for exactly who you are. The elves, you know, they are absolute masters at this sort of thing. They can weave sunshine and the memory of a little bell right into a quilt. Chloe, my dear, rest assured I have heard you, and more importantly, you have heard your brother. That love, that deep and wonderful understanding between you two, well, that is the true spirit of Christmas, shining brighter than any star I follow in the night sky. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. Have you ever been tucked away inside, warm and cozy, when you hear the most wonderful sound coming from the outside? The sound of voices, all joined together in a familiar Christmas song. It's the sound of Christmas caroling, isn't it? A truly magical thing to hear. I just love seeing a group of friends and neighbors, all bundled up in their scarves and hats, their breath making little clouds in the frosty air. They move from door to door, not asking for anything, but giving a gift freely, the gift of music. It's such a simple act, but it can fill an entire neighborhood with such warmth and good cheer. You know, that lovely tradition has roots that go very deep, back to a time of quiet villages and starry nights in old England. It began with something called wassailing. Folks would travel through their village carrying a large bowl of warm, spiced drink, and they would stop at each home. They'd sing songs to wish their neighbors good health and a bountiful harvest for the year to come. A song and a kind word were the gifts they shared. Over the years, that wonderful custom of wishing people well through song blossomed into the Christmas caroling we know today. Ho, ho, ho! I've always thought there's a special kind of magic in a carol. It's a language the heart understands, no matter who you are or where you're from. It's a way of saying, we're all in this together, and I wish you joy. And that, I believe, is the true beauty of it. To stand on a doorstep and offer a song is to offer a piece of your own happiness. It's a reminder that the most precious gifts we can give are the ones that come from the heart, connecting us all and lighting up the long winter nights with hope and fellowship. It is a truly beautiful sound.
Oh, what a delightful afternoon Mrs. Claus and I had just the other day. We decided to pay a visit to the Reindeer nursery. There's truly nothing like the sound of new fawns learning to find their footing in the fresh hay. The air is so full of life. All the little ones were full of curiosity, bumping their noses into our hands and nibbling on our coat sleeves. All, that is, except for one, a tiny little fawn with the most bashful eyes you've ever seen. The elves had named him Shivernose because his little nose was always twitching with worry. He stayed tucked away in the farthest corner, watching us. Well, I thought, I can win this little fellow over. I found the juiciest, crunchiest carrot and knelt down, holding it out for him. I spoke in my softest voice, telling him it was all right. But he wouldn't budge. He just looked at me with those big, uncertain eyes and stayed right where he was. And then I saw what Mrs. Claus was doing. She hadn't said a word. She simply found a comfortable spot in a pile of sun-warmed hay, sat down, and began to hum a quiet old lullaby. She didn't look at Shivernose, didn't call to him. She just sat, humming with a peaceful smile. After a minute or two, I saw a little ear twitch. Then, ever so slowly, the little fawn took a cautious step, and then another. He tiptoed right over to Mrs. Claus, and without any hesitation at all, he rested his little head right in her lap and let out a long, happy sigh. I just watched, my heart full to bursting. She has such a patient, wonderful magic about her. Oh, it always reminds me that some of the very best gifts don't come with a ribbon at all. Sharing a moment like that, well, that's a treasure all its own.
You know, one of the great joys of my long journey is seeing how the spirit of the season shines so differently from place to place. The lights may be different colors, the songs may be in unfamiliar languages, but the warmth in people's hearts, that is always the same. And in many places, the magic continues long after my sleigh has returned to the North Pole. Let's travel in our imaginations for a moment, shall we? To beautiful Italy. There, a very special friend of mine keeps the wonder alive with a tradition known as La Befana, the Epiphany gift giver. Her name is a lovely one, and she is a dear, kind soul. On the eve of the Epiphany in early January, just when you might think the season's sparkle is fading, she takes to the skies on her broomstick. Oh, it's a wonderful sight. The children of Italy hang their stockings once more, and she flies through the night, filling them with all sorts of sweets and little treasures for those who have been good. What a marvelous way to keep the joy of giving going just a little bit longer. It fills my heart with such happiness to know this. It just goes to show the spirit of Christmas, that wonderful feeling of generosity and hope, isn't confined to just one night. It finds so many beautiful ways to express itself all across this amazing world. Each tradition is like a unique candle, and together, together they light up the entire year.
Ho, ho, ho! On the night before Christmas, the world grows so very quiet, doesn't it? It's a special kind of stillness, filled with anticipation. It's in that quiet that some of the oldest and most wonderful magic happens. I think you're ready to hear about one of my favorite tales. We call it The Legend of the Midnight Weavers. You see, here at the North Pole, we know that not all magic is loud and bright. Some of it is as soft as a falling snowflake. On Christmas Eve, after all the little ones are tucked in their beds, some very special visitors appear. They are the Midnight Weavers, tiny creatures made of frost and moonlight. They are quite shy and only appear for this one sacred night. They move in perfect silence, climbing the cold window panes of sleeping children. And there they begin their work. They spin the most intricate, beautiful patterns into the frost on the glass. But these are no ordinary webs. Oh no. Each thread is spun from the happiest moments of a child's year. A warm hug, a shared laugh, the kindness shown to a friend. They weave these memories into a map of a beautiful dream. Each pattern is unique, a story of goodness for that child alone. Their touch is lighter than a whisper, and they are gone long before the first hint of dawn. When the children wake on Christmas morning, they see these magical feathery patterns on their windows, sparkling in the new light. They may not know who made them, but they feel a sense of wonder, a little extra warmth in their hearts. And then, as the morning sun warms the glass, the beautiful patterns melt away, leaving only the memory of their magic. And that, you see, is the heart of the legend. It reminds us that some of the most beautiful gifts are the ones that don't last forever. They are the quiet moments, the unseen acts of love, the fleeting bits of wonder that touch our lives and then disappear. So, if you wake up on Christmas morning and see a bit of extra sparkle in the frost on your window, well, just smile. You'll know the Midnight Weavers have been there, leaving you a beautiful dream.
Ho, ho, ho!
With all the activity here at the pole, even I need to find a quiet corner for a little rest now and then. Mrs. Claus often says a good nap is one of the world's finest gifts, and she is very wise indeed. It had me thinking just the other day about my own favorite places to drift off for a moment. My top 3 coziest napping spots in the whole world. The first would have to be the hayloft in the reindeer stable. Oh, there's such a peaceful feeling up there, high above the stalls. The air is filled with the warm, sweet smell of fresh hay. And from below, you can hear the soft, rumbling snores of the reindeer as they dream. It's the most wonderful and soothing lullaby you can imagine. Then, of course, there is my armchair. It sits right by the grand fireplace in our living room. I do believe I've had that chair for centuries, and it is worn in so perfectly over the years it feels like a warm hug. The best part is how it holds the heat from the fire, keeping you snug and comfortable long after the embers have begun to fade. And for the third spot, well, this one might make you chuckle. It's on a large pile of freshly tested teddy bears in the workshop. The elves and I must make sure every single one is perfectly soft and huggable, you see. I must admit, there is simply nothing more comforting than being surrounded by all that softness. Sometimes I doze off right in the middle of quality control. So there you have it, the stable, the armchair, and a pile of teddy bears. Each one is a reminder that true comfort can be found in the simplest of things. The scent of hay, the warmth of a fire, or the softness of a new friend. It is always good to have those little pockets of peace in our day.
Ah, Mrs. Claus. She has a way of seeing right to the heart of a matter, a wisdom that's as warm as the winter fire. I am always learning from her, even after all this time. Just the other day, one of the younger reindeer was looking a bit down. You know the look, head hung low, not interested in the usual rooftop games. Well, I did what I always do. I started listing all the wonderful things we could do to feel better. We could practice our high-altitude glides, I suggested, or perhaps a spirited race through the candy cane forest. I thought for sure a bit of fun would bring the sparkle back to their eyes, but nothing seemed to work. Mrs. Claus was nearby, just watching with that knowing smile of hers. She came over, put a hand on my arm, and said so softly, "Sometimes the kindest thing to do is just offer a warm blanket and an open ear." And of course she was right. She always is. It wasn't about finding a solution.
It was about offering comfort. I had been so busy trying to fix the sadness, I forgot to simply be with it. It's a good thing to remember, isn't it? That being a friend isn't always about having all the answers. Often, it's just about being there. Just letting someone know they aren't alone. A simple, quiet kindness. That can be the greatest gift of all.
The Great Ledger. It's a wonderful old book. Its pages are filled with stories, you know. Not just lists of names, but moments. I was just tracing my finger down a freshly written entry, and the ink is still practically glowing. It's a story from just this afternoon that I think you'll enjoy as much as I did. It takes place on a school playground over in Ireland, where the grass is a remarkable shade of green. A very lively game of kickball was underway. Laughter was echoing all around. But off to the side, a new student stood watching, their hands in their pockets, just taking it all in. It can be hard, can't it, to be the new person? Well, the team captain, a young lad with bright red hair, was about to make a big play when he noticed the quiet observer. And then he did something that made the elves stop their work to watch in the scrying pool. He put his hands up and called, "Hold on!" The whole game paused. He walked right over to that new student, smiled a big welcoming smile, and asked if they'd like to join his team. Ho, ho, ho! Now that is wonderful! You see, the final score of that kickball game won't be remembered next week, but that moment will be remembered for a very, very long time. To choose kindness over competition, to open the circle and say, "There is room for you here," that is a victory of the heart. It's the sort of warmth that travels all the way up here to the North Pole. It's these moments that fill me with such a profound sense of hope for the world. To know that on a simple playground, a young captain chose to make someone feel like they belonged. That's the real magic. It reminds me that the brightest lights in the world are the acts of kindness we show to one another. Yes, a very fine entry in the ledger indeed. A very fine entry.
Have you ever looked up in a doorway during the holidays and seen a little sprig of green with waxy white berries tied up with a ribbon? And have you ever wondered about the sweet and simple tradition that comes with it? Ho, ho, ho! Of course, I'm talking about mistletoe. The custom is a charming one indeed. The idea is that if two people happen to find themselves standing together underneath the hanging mistletoe, they are meant to share a friendly kiss, a simple, happy moment shared between friends or family.
You see, that little tradition is much older than even my sleigh. It reaches all the way back to the ancient stories of the North. In the old Norse legends, mistletoe was a very special plant, seen as a powerful symbol of love and friendship. It was believed that a kiss shared beneath its leaves was a promise of peace and goodwill for the year to come. I've always loved one of the old ways they celebrated this. For every single kiss that was shared under the mistletoe, one of the little white berries was plucked from the branch. The tradition continued until every last berry was gone. A berry for every moment of connection. What a wonderful thought! Even now, after all these centuries, that little branch of mistletoe carries a spark of that old magic. It's a lovely reminder, I think, to pause during all the hustle and bustle. It's an invitation to share a smile and a moment of affection, reminding us that the true spirit of the season is found in the simple, heartfelt connections we share with one another.
Ah, there we are, settled in with a lovely stack of letters. It always brings me such joy to read through your questions. You all have such curious minds and warm hearts. Let's see what wonders you've been pondering. This first one comes from a firefighter named Daniel. A very important job, helping so many. Daniel asks, after a long Christmas Eve delivering presents, what is the very first thing you do to relax on December 26th? Ho, ho, ho! An excellent question, Daniel. After that long, wonderful night, the world is very quiet. The first thing I do, even before I step inside the workshop, is take the reindeer to their stable. I thank each one of them, from Rudolph to Vixen, for their incredible work. They deserve their rest more than anyone. Then I go inside. Mrs. Claus always has the same chair waiting for me by the fire. It's not the biggest or the grandest chair, but it's my favorite. She'll have a steaming mug of spiced apple cider ready, and I will simply sit. I close my eyes and listen to the crackle of the fire and the quiet hum of the workshop, knowing all the children are sleeping soundly. It is the most peaceful feeling in the world, a deep, quiet satisfaction. I imagine it's a feeling you know well after a long call. Now, for this one. Oh, this is from young Stella, age 5. What a lovely question. Stella asks, do the stars over the North Pole ever form special Christmas constellations like a reindeer or a sleigh that only you can see? My dear Stella, the sky over the North Pole is a very special place. The stars here seem to shine a bit brighter, and they do have a magic all their own. They don't stay still, you see. They love to dance with the northern lights. But on one night of the year, just as I am preparing the sleigh, they do something remarkable. For a fleeting moment, as I look up, they will swirl together into a familiar shape. Sometimes it's the arc of a candy cane, or the bright nose of the certain reindeer.
It's their way of wishing me a safe journey. It's a secret between me and the winter sky. So you keep looking up at the stars, Stella. They have more wonders than we can count. What marvelous questions! Thank you both. Always keep that wonder in your hearts. It is the spark that lights up the world.
You know, even after all these years, my dear Mrs. Claus still finds new ways to look after me. She is the heart of Christmas, the one who makes sure every last detail is perfect, from the shine on the reindeer's bells to the final stitch on a doll's dress. And every year we have the same, shall we call it a serious logistical debate. It always makes me smile. It happens just as I'm about to leave on Christmas Eve, and it's always about the cookies. You see, I have a very particular system. I believe in a systematic approach. A small, respectful nibble from each and every plate left out for me. It seems only fair, doesn't it? That way, I can sample the kindness from every single home on my route. But Mrs. Claus, she sees it differently. She insists, with a twinkle in her eye, that I must eat one entire cookie from the very first house. It shows proper appreciation, my dear, she'll say. You can't just leave a crumb behind for that wonderful family. We go back and forth, each of us making our very logical points. And of course, the debate is never truly settled. But the best part, the part that truly shows her heart, is how it always ends. After all our discussion, she tucks a little package into my coat pocket. It's always an emergency gingerbread cookie, warm from her oven. And she'll whisper with a little laugh, "This is just in case the first house only leaves out carrots for the reindeer." She always makes sure my great journey begins with a little bit of sweetness. In the end, that's all that really matters. You know, with all the wondrous sounds of the season, I think one of the very best is the sound of a good, honest laugh. It warms a room faster than any fireplace. I've collected a few little jokes over the years, and I thought I might share one or two with you. Here's a little something I heard in the workshop the other day. What do you call me when I stop to take a break? Santa Paws! Ho, 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 ho! I must admit, I had a good chuckle at that one. The elves are quite clever with their words, aren't they? All right, here's another one for you, fresh from the snowy fields outside. What do the snowmen eat for breakfast? Why, frosted flakes, of course. It makes perfect sense when you think about it. A bit of morning frost to start the day right. Now this last one, it's a little bit silly. Why was the little elf feeling so sad? Because he had low elf-esteem.
Oh, that poor little fellow. Don't you worry, a good cup of cocoa and a chat with a friend always helps lift the spirits around here. A good laugh truly is a wonderful thing. It's like a little spark of light that warms the heart. And sharing that warmth, well, that's one of the very best gifts of all.
Ho, 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 ho! You know, there are some corners of my workshop filled with a kind of magic so sweet and so fleeting you could almost miss it if you weren't looking closely. It has to do with my great book, the one with all the names. It is very, very long, and keeping it perfectly up to date with every single good deed is a task bigger than any one elf or even me. But Mrs. Claus, well, she has a wonderful solution that smells of cinnamon and spice. In her warm kitchen, she bakes a very special batch of gingerbread cookies. They are shaped like tiny scholars, each with a little quill pen. But the true magic is in the dough. She adds a pinch of what we call memory spice, a shimmering dust that holds the echo of happy thoughts. When the cookies are baked just so, they come to life. For one precious hour, these little gingerbread scribes sit attentively as the workshop elves report their findings from the year. They listen with their tiny sugar button ears, and with the most perfect icing penmanship you have ever seen, they write every good deed into smaller ledgers. Their work is so neat, so precise. And when their hour is done and their important work is complete, they fulfill their final, delicious purpose. They become a sweet, crunchy treat for the very elves who worked so hard to gather all that good news. It's a happy little cycle, you see, a perfect reward for a job well done. It's these little moments, these small, wonderful bits of magic that all work together. Each one is a tiny thread in the grand, warm blanket that is Christmas. Ho, 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 ho! Wonderful, isn't it?
Oh, there's nothing quite like settling down with a fresh stack of letters. Each one is a little window into a hopeful heart. Every so often, I come across one that makes me put my spectacles down and just think for a moment. I have one such letter right here. Let's see. Dear Santa, it's Sam. I am 8. I have been very good. My mom is the best inventor in the world. She can fix anything and has ideas for new toys all the time. But she lost her workplace, and now she doesn't smile as much. She just looks tired. I don't need any toys this year, really. But maybe you could bring something for my mom? Could you bring her a box of smiles? Or maybe a magic project for her to invent? Something to make her eyes sparkle again and remember she's important. that would be the best present for me. Love, Sam. My, what a heart on that young lad. A box of smiles. Oh, what a wonderful thought. You see, the greatest gifts we can ever receive aren't the ones wrapped in bright paper and ribbons. They are the gifts of happiness and peace for those we love. Sam understands the true spirit of Christmas. It isn't just in my workshop or in my sleigh. It's found in a loving heart that wishes for another's joy before its own. An inventor, he says. Well, creativity is a powerful light. It can feel dim at times, I know, but it never, ever truly goes out. It just needs a little spark to shine brightly again. Sam, my dear boy, I have heard your wish, and I want you to know something. You are already your mother's magic project. Your love, your belief in her, that is the greatest invention of all. That is the spark. Don't you ever forget that. Ho, 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 what a wonderful, wonderful wish.
I do enjoy a good puzzle. It's like a little gift for the mind, isn't it? A chance to let our thoughts wander down a snowy path. I have one here for you. Let's see if you can unravel it with me. Here it is. I have a sweet striped staff, but I'm not a shepherd. I am a treat that is hooked, often hung on a branch for all to see. What am I? A good one to ponder. Now, if you need a little clue, think about this. My flavors are often peppermint and sweet. Did you get it? Ho ho! It is, of course, a candy cane. Wonderful things, candy canes. I especially love how they look hanging on the tree, like little edible question marks. All right, here is another one for you. I am a house you can eat, with walls made of spice and a roof of sweet frost. My windows are gumdrops, my pathway is neat. What am I? Let's think on that together. Here's a little something to help you along. Hansel and Gretel might find me delicious. Ho-ho! I'm sure you've figured this one out. It is, of course, a gingerbread house. The elves have a contest every year to see who can build the most spectacular one. The smells from the workshop are simply delightful. Ah, wasn't that fun? A good riddle warms up the mind, much like a good cup of cocoa warms the spirit. It's the little joys that make this season so bright.
What a splendid evening we had just the other night. The air was so crisp and clear you could almost reach out and touch the moon. Mrs. Claus and I climbed all the way up to the highest turret of our castle, where we keep the great celestial compass. It's one of my favorite things to do together, preparing the map for the Christmas Eve flight. I was busy, you see, charting my course through all the old familiar friends in the sky. There was the Great Bear, pointing the way, and the bright, steady glow of the North Star, my most trusted guide. I was focused on the big picture, making sure the route was as efficient as could be. And then Mrs. Claus, who has a wonderful way of noticing the things I miss, put her hand on my arm. She said, "Nicholas, look there." She was pointing to a patch of sky that I thought was quite empty. But when I looked closer through the lens of the compass, I saw it. A tiny cluster of stars, so faint you could mistake them for a bit of stardust. They twinkled with a soft silver light. I hadn't seen them before. We watched them for the longest time, and Mrs. Claus said they looked just like a little cottage with a light on in the window. A warm and cozy home in the vast dark sky. She was right. So we decided to give it a name right then and there. We call it the Hearth. It reminds me that even when you're looking for the biggest stars, the smallest lights can bring the most warmth. Ho, ho, ho! It's always an adventure with her. She helps me see the universe in a whole new way. It's the moments we share that make the journey truly magical.
Ho, ho, ho! In my many years of flying through the winter skies, I've seen the world light up for Christmas in the most remarkable ways. Every town, every city has its own special glow. But there are some lights that shine so brightly they seem to reach right up to greet the sleigh. Today, my thoughts are traveling to the wonderful islands of the Philippines. There, in the city of San Fernando, they have a tradition so brilliant it has earned them the name the Christmas capital of the Philippines. It's a festival they call Ligligan Parul. Now, when I say lanterns, you might be picturing a small, cozy light. Oh, but these are something else entirely. These are giant lanterns, enormous spinning kaleidoscopes of color and light. Some are as large as a little house, truly. And they don't just sit still. No, they twirl and dance, thousands of lights blinking in perfect time to joyous music that fills the air. Each one is a masterpiece, built by the hands of the community, all working together to create something beautiful. It is a sight that warms my old heart to see. It just goes to show, doesn't it? The spirit of the season, that wonderful feeling of hope and togetherness, can be found everywhere. It shines in so many different ways, but its light is always as warm and just as true all around the world. A truly dazzling display of joy. Ho, ho, ho! I was just thinking of a little friend of mine from the workshop. Perhaps you'd like to hear the story.
It's a favorite of mine called Flicker, the candle that shared its flame. You see, one year, the elves decided to craft something truly special. They made a small, simple candle from the sweetest beeswax and wick spun from moonlight. And into this little candle they poured a tiny bit of Christmas magic, so its flame would never ever go out. They named him Flicker. Now, Flicker was proud of his steady little light, but he was also, well, he was very small. He'd sit on a workbench and watch the elves paint the magnificent rocking horses and build towering dollhouses, and his little flame would seem to shrink. He thought, "What good am I, so small and plain, when there are such grand and exciting toys in the world?" Well, Christmas Eve arrived, and with it came a blizzard like no other. The wind howled and the snow fell so thick and fast, it was like a great white curtain had fallen over the entire world. I stood by the sleigh, my heart heavy, for I couldn't see more than a few feet in front of me. Even Rudolph's wonderful nose was just a faint rosy blur in the storm. Just then, an elf whose job it was to polish the sleigh bells had an idea. She ran back into the workshop and returned holding little Flicker. She carried him to the first runway lantern, and Flicker touched his flame to its wick. Whoosh! A bright, warm light cut through the snow. Then they went to the next lantern and the next. Flicker shared his endless flame with hundreds of lanterns, creating a long, beautiful pathway of light that guided us safely into the night sky. Flicker learned a very important lesson that night. He realized his purpose wasn't to be the biggest or the brightest gift on the sleigh. His purpose was to share the light he had, no matter how small it seemed, so that others could shine brightly too. And isn't that a wonderful thought? That your own unique spark, shared with kindness, can help light up the whole world. Ho, ho, ho! A beautiful thought indeed.
You know, I was just sitting here by the fire, watching the snow fall, and my mind drifted to the workshop. It's always buzzing with activity, of course, but it's the sheer creativity of the elves that never ceases to amaze me. It had me thinking about some of my absolute favorite elven inventions, the ones that are just wonderfully ingenious. I thought I might share a few with you. First on my list has to be the tangle-free tinsel dispenser. Oh, what a marvel this is! You might not believe the great tinsel tangles we used to have. This clever little contraption has saved so many hours and brought a peaceful sort of joy back to decorating the grand halls. It just makes everything sparkle without a single bit of fuss. Next, and this is a personal favorite, is the self-stirring hot cocoa mug. Ho-ho! A true comfort on a long winter's night. After checking my lists, there's nothing quite like sitting down with a warm cup, and this little mug keeps it perfectly mixed and just the right temperature from the first sip to the last. It's one of those small inventions that makes a very big difference. And the last one, well, this one is truly special. It's called the Laughter Collector. It's a beautiful little brass music box that can capture the sound of a happy elf's chuckle. Whenever someone is feeling a little down or just needs a reason to smile, we can open the box and out comes the most joyful sound you've ever heard. Ho, ho, ho! It works every single time. When you look at them all, from a simple dispenser to a box full of joy, you see what makes elven inventions so remarkable. They aren't just about solving problems. They're about adding more comfort, more sparkle, and more laughter into the world. And that, I think, is the most wonderful kind of ingenuity there is.
My dear Mrs. Claus, she has a wisdom that is as warm and as wonderful as the kitchen she keeps. She can see right to the heart of a matter, often when I can only see the puzzle. I remember one afternoon I was in my workshop and, I was in a bit of a tizzy. I was working on a new invention, a tiny clockwork robin that was meant to sing a beautiful Christmas carol. The gears were all in place, the little wooden wings were carved just so, but it would only manage a small, sad-sounding squeak. I tinkered and I fussed, growing more impatient by the minute. Just then, the most wonderful aroma of cinnamon and ginger found its way into the workshop. I followed my nose to the kitchen, and there she was, pulling a tray of perfectly brown gingerbread stars from the oven. I must have looked quite frustrated, because she just looked at me and smiled. I told her all about my little robin that wouldn't sing. She listened, as she always does, then held up one of the warm cookies. "You can't rush a gingerbread cookie, Claus," she said. "Give good things the time they need to become sweet." And she was right. Of course she was. I went back to my workbench, took a deep breath, and started again, slowly this time. It's a good thing to remember. The most wonderful things in life, a handmade gift, a growing friendship, or even the little songbird, often need a bit of time and patience to truly find their song.
Ah, here we are. The fire is crackling away, and the light from the candles dances across the pages of the great ledger. It's a quiet moment, and my favorite kind of moment, for turning these ancient pages and seeing the new stories written within. I've just come across a new entry. Oh, and it has warmed my old heart so. I must share this one with you. My quill has noted a wonderful tale from a snowy village in Finland, nestled deep amongst the pines. In the evenings, when the world is quiet and blanketed in white, the lights of the community hall are on. And inside, in the warm glow, there is an elder, a master woodcarver. His hands, which have known the grain of the wood for a lifetime, are now guiding the hands of the little ones. He sits with them evening after evening, patiently teaching them how to bring little wooden figures and toys to life from a simple block of wood. He asks for nothing in return. You see, this is a special kind of magic. He isn't just teaching them to carve. He is giving them a gift that can never be lost or broken. He is sharing his time, his patience, and a piece of his heart. In a world that moves so very fast, he is showing them the profound joy of creating something beautiful with their own hands, slowly and with care. That knowledge, that feeling of pride in making something real, that is a gift that will last them a lifetime. Seeing an entry like this fills me with such immense pride. It's a reminder that the greatest gifts we have are the ones we share with one another. Our knowledge, our kindness, our time. It gives me such hope for the world, knowing these quiet acts of goodness are happening everywhere, every single day. A truly beautiful thing to see.